Donald Trump is fixated with his mortality and possibly getting into heaven. Here it is.
Could you kind of give us a little bit of an inside scoop on regards to your plans in 2026,
I
sir?
big plans. Yeah, I have big plans. I want to survive. That's one of my big plans. You look at what's going on, it's crazy. You know, the rhetoric that these crazy Democrats are using is very dangerous. They've made politics very dangerous.
Put it up for him, man. This is going to be an interesting story here, and I have more background. So according to Atlanta Black Star, Trump revealed his surprisingly morbid concerns during an interview with a right-wing media outlet called One American News, OAN, and said, over everything else, he hopes to survive 2026. The president appears worried about either another assassination attempt, there were 2 last year, or possibly his seemingly failing health, according to the report. At 79 years old, he is the oldest person to start a term as president of the United States. It was ironic that they made Biden's age a factor, but somehow skipped Trump, his opponent, in that narrative. His persistent health issues in recent months are no secret. He's had swollen ankles. We've reported on this from a chronic venous insufficiency diagnosis. Bruises on his hands that were noticeable. And he largely disappeared the last week of August with no camera sightings, something extremely unusual for Trump, and amid wide speculation of serious health problems. Then, when rumors surfaced over Labor Day weekend, that he had actually died, he seemed out of touch and confused by questions about the internet rumor when he did reappear, even though he had responded on them to social media. His long, rambling, and often incoherent speeches also are sparking concern about his mental illness or mental health. At least one Democrat, Representative Dean, said Trump's recent address to hundreds of the nation's top military brass shows he is not only, quote, clearly unwell, end quote, but also, quote, incoherent and extraordinarily dangerous. So for months, Trump has been fixated about getting into heaven. Here it is.
If I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons.
If you look around, I mean, people of faith, there's a feeling they want to be good. You know, they get punished if they're not good, right? If you don't think about that, if you're not a believer and you believe you go nowhere, what's the reason to be good, really?
And I felt for a long time that, you know, if a country doesn't have religion, doesn't have faith, doesn't have God, it's going to be very hard to be a good country. You know, there's no reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove to God that you're good, so you go to that next step, right?
And that is why I appreciate atheists. Some people may question that coming from a guy with a faith background in Christianity. You see, atheists will proclaim to not believe in God, which is your right, and still attempt to achieve good for humanity. Many of you watching the program fit that bill. I respect the hell out of that, or respect the heaven into it. Here's why. You know, it's interesting when I ask a Christian, a believer, I say, you know, being an atheist is not a sin. They go quite stir crazy. Well, not according to scripture. Find where thou shalt not be an atheist is located in the text. It is not. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not do a lot of other things. Be good to your neighbor. See, these things are actually in the text. To me, those things are more relevant than that part. But see, Trump believes the only reason why people can ever do good is because they need fire insurance. They don't want to go to hell. But that's actually not the catalyst for doing good. You do good because good is in the abundance of your heart. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks and your actions continue. That's it. Very simple. This is interesting rhetoric coming from Donald Trump. It is not my place to judge one way or the other. I do believe that we are eternal souls. I do believe that we continue. However we continue, I don't know. But I do believe there's something fundamentally much more than just our physical being and body. Dear brother, Trump is concerned here. It's starting to leak out a little bit in his interviews. We know that he's not able to keep a secret too long. He seems to be concerned about his mortality.
Yeah, and I think that was very well put, what you just said. And I imagine we are probably pretty in line in that area. What stuck out to me the most with this rhetoric that he's using is sort of the merger, I think, of Christianity with just hyper capitalism. I mean, like, he can't even imagine a scenario where even a literal afterlife that he meets after his passing is not dictated by how many numbers he can show on some kind of a report. And he's trying to quantify morality rather than being concerned for actual genuine human suffering. And I don't know, I'm not Saint Peter, but if I were, I feel like that would be a pretty important criterion. And so, yeah, I think that this is sort of, I think evangelical Christians who have harped for so long on just trying to get people converted to their religion, maybe this gives them pause. And maybe when you see someone who is an older person at the end of their life who is solely concerned with doing good only so it can personally benefit them, maybe that can give some kind of light and shine and reveal how their rhetoric maybe might have some bad qualities to it that we're seeing embodied in Trump right now.
Yeah, and I think that's where the hypocrisy remains, right? You have individuals who represent one ideology on a Sunday, but represent a different ideology throughout the entire week. Here's the hope. The hope, in my opinion, is for authenticity. And authenticity means being true to yourself first and to thyself remain true. Now, if somebody's not true to themselves, that's the first hell you will experience, in my opinion.